I don't know that they have enough to make the playoffs. Even with Arraez, I think Arraez is a good pickup. If this is what you're looking for from your DH, it's a different look, and I don't think it's enough to make the playoffs.
Can we stop with the weekend evening signings and trades? Our game has a disease. Our game has a disease. Do you see this at this percentage clip in any other sport? It's like everything that happens is Friday night at 11 p.m. or Saturday at 9 p.m. Am I off? Do we text about this all the time?
You do.
But I bring it up because it keeps happening. Am I wrong? You don't care?
I don't really care, to be honest with you.
Do you feel like certain things happen?
I just feel like you like to complain.
I do. That's what this show's for, at least to an extent. Kratz, do you feel like certain things happen to bury news on Fridays? I mean, after our show ended, we got the press release from MLB about the uniforms, and then hours later, the Marlins officially announced that they were tanking.
Burying it, yes. I think the Marlins thing's burying it. But, like, when do you want them to announce it? Like, at 1 o'clock in the afternoon when FT starts? I would love that. That'd be great. We could chat about it, instant react. But I don't know. I don't know when, because we're playing every day. There's always, to me, it should be eyes on baseball all the time. And, in the middle of the news cycle, is it really going during games on a Friday night? I don't think so. I think there could be a better time, but when is that?
Weekdays.
Yeah, like a Thursday? Like a Thursday when there's 4 games, like at 6 o'clock?
Yes. That's a great day for it when it's a light schedule. When would you want the ideal trade?
Whenever the trade is done, make the announcement. Why? We're not catering to you.
Not the announcement. I'm just saying the news breaks at that time. All right, fine. Maybe I'm doing too much.
I think you're overthinking it.
Overthinking it?
Overthinking it. It is what it is. They don't worry about your schedule, Scooter, so you have to understand that. All right?
Thanks.
They don't worry about my schedule either. So it is what it is.
I'm getting off
But
my
on a
soapbox.
bright note, Peter Bendix stated the obvious already.
Well, let's charge the damn mound for it.
Charging the mound.
What would that obvious statement be?
We're not making the playoffs this year. What? No shit.
It's because they're playing the Dodgers. They knew they needed the next 3 games, and they're playing the Dodgers. They're like, I just don't see the matchups. I don't see the matchups for us.
They are who we thought they were.
No, I thought we thought they'd be a little better than what they were.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, he said we are unlikely to make the playoffs this year because people are asking about the timing, too, because it's very early. The one thing that did piss me off is, our buddy Jim Bowden said on his radio show that he didn't feel like he checked in with all the teams.
Really?
And he's pretty in touch with front offices. So usually when someone like that says something, it means someone said something to him like, oh, I didn't get a phone call. That usually is a problem for me.
Does it hurt your heart because you had to Arraez Marlins jersey that he has no? So who won the
Hurt
trade?
my heart. I'm ecstatic this weekend. I love Luis Arráez. Now he's on the Padres. You get the Tony Gwynn vibes. He's on a semi-contending team for the postseason. He went from a dumpster fire to some hope.
Who won that trade?
Padres, by far.
No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the Twins Marlins when they traded.
It's too early to tell.
Oh,
Wait. I thought about this. I have a rebuttal. Todd Father, are you clued in on this? Because we had the debate last year about Pablo Lopez and Luis Arráez.
I remember tidbits of it, but
Okay.
I'm a Pablo Lopez guy. So
These guys give me crap for Arraez. What they don't realize is that Pablo Lopez signed a lucrative contract with the Minnesota Twins last year. Did he not?
Mm-hmm. And he started opening day, and he's their ace, and they're
And
playing really
All-star.
well. Yeah, and all those things. Yep.
Yeah, that's all cute. 4 years, $73.5 million. Sounds like something the Marlins would not have been able to do. So the Marlins think that they're playing chess while everyone else is playing checkers by trading for Arraez, then trading him for 4 prospects because eventually those guys will come up and cost them nothing. I'm telling you,
What happens?
where their brains
What
at.
happens if all 4 of them don't turn into anything?
Well, that's why I think the Padres won the trade. I think the Marlins have one clear objective right now. They said, Kim Ng, thanks for bringing us to the playoffs for the first time in a billion years. We appreciate your services. We don't feel like we're that good, though. And we think that it is too expensive to make it to the playoffs like we did last year. We would like to do the same thing that the Rays do, but by paying less. Can we do that? How do we do that? Let's find the dude that was working for the guy who led the Rays front office, and let's rebuild again and build up to this one moment that we think is going to lead to consistent success.
And the Marlins are paying all of Arraez's salary this year, almost.
Yeah. Well, they bought a prospect out of that.
So they have money.
Ish. I feel bad for Marlins fans, Todd Father. Like, you played in the NL East. You know, you'd go down there and the place is filled with Mets fans. I lived in Miami for a while. They think the team's a joke, and an example like this is perfect.
Yeah, I feel bad for him, but it's a great question, but I want to go back to how they said they didn't get in touch with any other teams. I find that strange because I feel like anybody would take Luis. Like, this is a guy that can hit the ball until he's 50, 67 years old. The dude, exaggerating, but he's a great hitter, and I think any team would have loved him on his. So that's where I'm like, where's the disconnect there? Like, why is it San Diego or bust? Like, is that the way they're going about this? So, yeah, like any team that is thinking they're going to get in the playoffs would have loved to have this guy. So that's where it's like I would like to dive deep in that and figure out if that's really true or not.
Same. Just to clarify, I'm sure they spoke to other teams. What I heard from Bowden was that they didn't check in with every team. Like the contending teams that make sense.
Maybe he got an offer he wanted and he took it.
What if there was a better one?
Maybe.
Why does it hurt to make another phone call?
Listen, I'm not Peter Bendick, so all I know is that he said that it's too early to judge their team. So then 4 days later, he trades their one hitter they have that's doing well.
PR training is needed.
I mean,
has there ever been a team that has made the playoffs, grinded and fought to make the playoffs, and then rebuilt the next year? I mean, there's been teams where it's like,
it's called the Marlins. It's called the Marlins after they won a World Series.
Both times.
Marlins the two other times that they won the World Series, they did this. So it's like, oh, great, now we made the playoffs. Time to bounce. The ownership's like, I'll just take all that extra money I made. See ya.
That's why I'm saying to Todd, imagine if you're a Marlins fan, because I've been down there for it, and it's the same thing since the franchise started. You get the same lingo from different people, and they're way past this. It's way past Boy Who Cried Wolf. Somebody takes over, whether it's the owner or the GM, and they say, it's going to be different. This is what we're going to do. We're going to invest in the team, blah, blah, blah. They've given up on believing that shit a long time ago. Marlins fans think that anything they're told is a straight up lie and they should take the opposite. It's like just being in a brutal relationship. It's bad. Here's Joe Frisaro, who covered the team for years. He said, message clear to all on the roster, perform to improve your trade value. Nice culture this front office created for Skip Schumacher and his staff. They tried to move Arraez in the offseason, then took him to an ARB hearing. Eye on now and the future, ? Distant future. And this was in response to Daniel Alvarez Montes saying who covers the Marlins also, saying, since the arrival of Peter Bendix, the Marlins never approached Luis Arráez to discuss a contract extension. Both parties went to arbitration. The team got off to a really bad start. This was expected, but maybe not this early. The rebuild is on.
This is. I hope somebody in that scrum asked him about this whole timeline stuff. This rebuild stuff. He said, well, we don't think we're going to make the playoffs now. Was that because you thought that back in December when you renegotiated to get Skip Schumacher, manager of the year, out of there? Were you guys out of the playoffs? You knew you were out of the playoffs already in January when you didn't offer Luis Arráez, a player who wanted to stay there, an extension? You went to arbitration with him? Why not? He's not going to be here. Let's save as much money as possible, and who cares if we piss a guy off?
Or when they signed one big league free agent the whole winter?
Oh,
Tim Anderson? You forgot to add that one.
They thought that they got lucky. This new front office thought that last year's team was lucky with one-run wins and all your favorite, the Pythagorean run theorem, that they didn't outscore their opponents enough, so they're not that legit. So we should tank it out. Why does fandom exist? Why does MLB exist? You know what I'm saying? At some point, how far off are we getting from why we care about this shit versus this is a business and we would like to really prop it and compete at the right time. Like, I'm like, enough. It's so frustrating. It's great for Padres fans, which we'll get to in a sec.
I mean, he's just their DH now, I guess, right?
Well, he could play the right side of the infield, though. He's not a great defender. He's not a terrible defender. He's probably...
You're going to bench Bogarts? You're going to bench...
Well, no, you can mix and match. Give them a blow here and there. And yes, he'll play a lot of DH.
He's going to be the DH.
But they lost Soto's OBP last year, which was great, even though it didn't work for the team to make the playoffs. This is a good replacement for getting on base. I mean, this guy gets on base.
Yeah.
If he hits.
But he always hits. He's like a 325 career hitter. I get it. He's mostly one-dimensional. But our friend J.J. Cooper from Baseball America said that because the return was Dylan Head, Jacob Marcy, Nathan Mortarella, and Woo-Suk Go, who was one of the signings in the offseason by the Padres, and he struggled. He's been in the minors. But Cooper said that Dylan Head has upside, but he's not a top 100 prospect. The other two are projected bench bat and low leverage reliever, a modest return for a player swapped for Pablo Lopez. He does not like the return.
Yeah, if that's the case, that's a terrible return. Then he should have talked to every other team if you want the truth. We don't know. We don't know how these kids are going to come out. We never know. That's all speculation. But I mean, JJ's been around a long time. I mean, I trust what he says, but same time, something can happen. The kid could take off, but why? That's strange. It's not a good move. So
yeah, Kratz, this isn't the Juan Soto deal, and Luis Arráez and Juan Soto are not the same player. Obviously, Soto's a much better player, but when we saw that deal, it was like, all right, James Wood is a big deal, super high upside prospect. Same with CJ Abrams. Even Mackenzie Gore, you're like, this dude's a big league starter. That was a big-ass return. A.J. Preller swings deals left and right, and the one thing I will give to him, because it hasn't worked out success-wise, Kratz, he doesn't – in that trade, the Soto trade's the one that stands out, and Trey Turner. The rest of his deals, if you look back at the history, most of the time he's really good at evaluating his own prospects. Some of them are pumped up too high on boards, and he trades those ones away. Mm-hmm. No?
I mean,
Braves.
I gotta go back and look at all that. Like, who did he give up to get Kimbrel?
Max Fried. Cameron Maven.
Who did he give up to get oh shoot, what was his name?
Melvin Upton.
I can give you all these just to give you context.
I feel like he's a poor man's Jerry Dipoto. I think he tries to wade in the murkier water of like, ooh, I'm going to go get this guy. And I think, and this is probably just a general thought by me, I think he meddles a little bit too much. But I also think he makes the adjustment when he makes a mistake, in the sense of like when he was like, you know what, we got Kimbrel, we got Upton, we got Matt Kemp, we got, Fernando Rodney all in that time. And it was like, okay, this isn't working. Let's revamp again.
Yeah, I'll give you some background just on those two deals. For example, for Kimbrel, they got Kimbrel and BJ Upton. In return, they gave away Cameron Maben, Carlos Quentin, Jordan Parabek, Matt Whistler, and the 41st pick in the 2015 draft.
It became who?
I don't know. Who was it? You know who it was?
I don't know.
Oh, I got to find it. But it doesn't say it right at the top here, which usually means it wasn't a superstar. How about I'll give you a much more recent one? I remember this. Blake Snell. They traded away Luis Patino, Cole Wilcox, Blake Hunt, and Francisco Mejia.
There was nobody in that 41st pick, by the way.
Who was it?
Austin Riley.
That's a good one.
Womp.
But that wasn't their prospect. That was a pick.
Yeah, but they traded that pick. They could have picked Austin Riley.
They could have.
Just
They did well in the Blake Snell trade.
Listen, the reason that happened, I was in spring training. It happened because they wanted to get rid of Melvin.
Not because of Kimbrel?
No, it was more. It was a money move to send BJ and Craig out. We were trying to win. Carlos Quentin never played a second for the Braves. I was super pumped because I love him and he crushed that Greinke once.
He never played a game, right? Like they cut him off the roster before he ever. Yeah.
As soon as he was traded for, they DFA'd him, and I don't think he played again.
That. You say that now.
Matt Wessler turned into a decent, all right player. He was okay.
Yeah. I think after the Braves, really, though. I think he struggled with the Braves.
And he did okay.
Okay. Back-end starter.
Yeah. I mean, he was, Then he went to the Rays and threw 99% sliders.
Yes. Okay, so on the Padres side, and then we'll move on. Is this a playoff team now? Wild card contender, at least. Can I sell you on that, Todd Father? They just won 4 out of 5. They went through it, and now I know they lost yesterday, but they're back on the kind of streaky side in a good way. They look like they've got some pieces.
I'm looking right now, 5.5 back. That's not,
they're not winning
a
the
lot.
division.
Yeah, I mean, don't be nasty. You never know. Another trade here or there. I don't think they will either. Yeah, I like Luis Arráez. I think this is a great pickup. I think, what he probably, like AJ said, most likely be a DH and a spot start here or there. He's an on-base machine, and I know, Scott, you like him as well. So I think he'll fit right in there with the Manny Machados and the Bogarts of the world, and I think him and Cronenworth are going to piggyback off each other, and I think this is going to help propel them to get – I think it will. I think this will propel them to get into the playoffs. Where? I'm not sure, but it won't be a 1 seed. I know that.
Yeah. Okay, so then that's a win. That's a big win, Kratz. I mean, this team took a big payroll step back because they had to trim it a little. They were going all out. They were operating with the big boys. And they lost big names, Josh Hader, Blake Snell. They had to trade away Juan Soto. And they might end with a better result this year than last year.
Yeah, but last year was total underperformance. This lineup has to carry this team. I'm not sure. I'm actually betting against Yu Darvish today. I'm not sure why his pitch counts haven't been as high this year. So is he the guy that's going to anchor this rotation? If Dylan Cease, can he anchor this rotation? Joe Musgrove just went on the IL. To me, this starting rotation is going to have to prop up a bullpen who lost some guys, and I don't know that I don't know that they have enough to make the playoffs. Even with Arraez, I think Arraez is a good pickup. I think because you have to slot him in at DH, because one of the 7 of the 9 shortstops that start in their infield are not going to be getting less time in the field than Luis Arráez. So to me, if this is what you're looking for from your DH, it's a different look, and I don't think it's enough to make the playoffs.
Their pitching is short for me.
That's what
Which part?
Musgrove's hurt.
Yeah.
And we don't know how long. Elbow inflammation usually means weeks or months, right?
Mm-hmm.
The bullpen hasn't been great for him. The middle has been kind of a rough spot for him. Darvish hasn't been that great for him. I don't know. They're in such a tough division. The Diamondbacks haven't played well at all. I don't know. I mean, it's going to make it more entertaining, but does it put them in the playoffs? They need Musgrove back. They need Cease to keep pitching well. They need Darvish. It's a long road for the Padres.
Mm-hmm. Much better shot now.
I mean, I don't know if Luis Arraez moves the needle enough, though. I mean, he's a good player. He's a singles hitter, which is cool, but he doesn't steal bases. He doesn't bring anything defensively, like Kratzy said. So, I mean, yeah, he's a nice player, but I don't know.
Okay.
He's not Juan Soto.
No, of course not.
They don't have Hader and they don't have Snell. I mean, that's 3 huge pieces.
They're off to a probably better start than they were last year. I mean, they're 500-ish right now. I think they have a chance.
They have a chance, but so do the Marlins.
Not now.
Hey, everybody. Be sure to like and subscribe for more content.
We're back here every weekday, all year long, so do not miss an episode.
The videos are coming in all day. Here's another video you might enjoy.
Baseball the way it should be covered.